Alright, so in today's video I thought I'd answer a question which a variety of you might have, being, what exactly was the go with Tommy's illness in Season 6? Now, as you all know, Tommy was diagnosed with an illness and he was also suffering from certain symptoms which we'll dive into. But first, a quick overview of Season 6 is probably necessary in specific relation to Tommy and his illness. Basically, in Season 6, Episode 1, we kind of get the gist that Tommy has left behind alcohol. Then, in Season 6, Episode 2, it opens up with Tommy having a seizure, and he's fallen on broken glass and cut up all his back. Once again in this episode, near the end, he has a seizure where he also hallucinates in his parliamentary office, where he fights a soldier from World War One. Furthermore, he ends up having another hallucination in Season 6, Episode 5, in relation to, once again, his supposed illness. Then, throughout the season, he is constantly struggling until we get to Season 6, Episode 4, and his doctor tells him that he's being diagnosed with terminal, tuberculoma in his brain, which basically means that he has around 12 months to live, 18 if he's lucky, and that it does not look very likely. Furthermore, the doctor also happens to explain to him certain symptoms which he could be experiencing from said illness, such as seizures and hallucinations, which is what he is undoubtedly experiencing throughout Season 6. However, we come to Season 6, Episode 6, the final episode, where Tommy says goodbye to his family, finishes all his business up, and is ready to go and start preparing for his death, more or less. He makes his way out into the English countryside, and just before he's about to commit suicide, he hears the voice of his daughter calling him. He runs to his daughter, and his daughter says that he's not even sick, etc., etc. He goes down to the fire, looks at the fire with a piece of newspaper, goes to light it, and he sees that actually his doctor worked for Oswald Mosley, or was in very tight relationship with Oswald Mosley. Then, Tommy confronts the doctor and explains to him how he found out that his illness diagnosis was incorrect and a complete lie. The doctor basically admits that he was lying and working for Mosley, but he diagnoses Tommy with the illness of guilt. Nonetheless, Tommy doesn't really take this to heart, and he ends up letting the doctor live as Tommy's redemption is now complete, and he chooses to turn a new leaf in his life, which we'll see if it is continued in Season 7 or more or less the movie, but I highly doubt it, as I'm not sure if they'll do a whole movie where Tommy is more or less docile and not involved in any gang criminal activity. Which, on a side note, quickly could work quite well because he could be redeeming himself and trying just really hard to take down Mosley and make a better England, as he was trying to do at the end of Season 6. Now, with the illness obviously being fake and nothing actually being wrong with Tommy, why exactly was he getting the seizures and the hallucinations? Now, when we were told that it was his brain illness, the tuberculoma, it made sense because the hallucinations and seizures could be linked to that, as the doctor said. But like I said, with that all being fake, what exactly was causing them? Now, just as a quick brief rundown, we should actually jump back to Season 3, where Tommy got his skull cracked and fractured by Father Hughes's men. Now, if you remember in Season 3, he was out of commission for quite a while, a few months I believe, and he experienced hallucinations as he was constantly on morphine, as well as just constant struggles and brain fluctuations in hospital, which can be seen when he had his head shaved and stitched up, and then he was constantly in a dazed state for months. Like I said, also just sipping on morphine. He was also continued to be on morphine for a bit while he was back home, but he quickly got rid of that. However, that injury only seems to have made Tommy necessary to wear glasses, as he proclaims to Alfie, I believe, saying that the worst thing that happened out of all this was that he had to wear glasses. So, that injury, is that correlated to the seizures and hallucinations? Probably not. Purely because it was so long ago, and possibly all these years later, which at this point is maybe about 10 years later, or at least 5-6 years after. Oh, way more. Yeah, probably about 10 years after season 3, season 6 takes place. So 10 years after, he could be experiencing some more symptoms from that, but it is probably unlikely. The most probable scenario which can explain Tommy's illness is arguably his alcohol withdrawal symptoms. Now, we understand that after the death of Polly in end of season 5, or between season 5 and season 6, Tommy stopped drinking alcohol. And we pick up with him 4 years later after he has finished alcohol completely and he is trying to remain sober. Now, if you actually look up and do some research, which I've done, alcohol withdrawal symptoms can range from seizures to hallucinations, 2 of which Tommy experienced. Furthermore, I looked up and I'm fairly certain that these seizures and hallucinations, or more or less alcohol withdrawal symptoms in general, can last for weeks, days, months, even years. So say, for instance, 4 years after he stopped drinking alcohol, after Polly's death, he's in an extremely high state of stress due to basically his final mission being to either kill or get rid of Michael and finish up his American business so he can finally retire. So his state and level of stress is immensely high, especially with him knowing that Michael's trying to kill him. So possibly he could have experienced these alcohol withdrawal symptoms whilst in such a high state of stress. And we understand that he hadn't been experiencing these for a while. He says that his first one was on the way back from Canada. So they're fairly recent, and it's just kicked in after he's had that big confrontation with Michael and the Americans. So he could be stressed about meeting Jack Nelson. He could be stressed that Michael's trying to betray him or fuck him over. And who knows? So these alcohol withdrawal symptoms really became prominent at this time of pure stress. Another thing that doesn't also really make that much sense, but is that in season 6, episode 5, he once again has a hallucination. Although in the episode before, he had a sip of wine. Now, I don't think he went back to full-on drinking after that little sip of wine in season 6, episode 4. So season 6, episode 5 could still definitely be a withdrawal symptom from alcohol. I really do not know enough about the literature and medical studies to diagnose exactly what he was having in season 6, episode 5, but I presume it could possibly be an alcohol withdrawal symptom. As in season 6, episode 6, we see him drinking more again. He drinks some whiskey at the end of season 6, episode 5, season 6, episode 6, he has a drink, etc. So by that stage, in season 6, episode 6, he doesn't have any seizures or hallucinations. So that possibly could mean that because he's back on the alcohol, he experiences none of these symptoms again. But basically, that is all. Tommy, more or less, his illness in season 6 wasn't tuberculoma or any brain tumours or anything. It was really just alcohol withdrawal symptoms. These caused him to experience the seizures as well as the hallucinations, which we see throughout the season. And yeah, that's basically it. So all you need to know is that Tommy's illness was alcohol withdrawal, and he never really had any underlying issues. Possibly a point that is relevant could also be that his brain injury from season 3 is just coming back to haunt him, and he's really starting to suffer from that, which is another viable argument. I would lean more towards the alcohol withdrawal symptom, but as that is also heavily championed throughout season 6. It's a big point of most of season 6 is him not drinking and him being forced to try and drink, which is always entertaining to watch. Him refusing, obviously. But yeah, I hope I cleared up some confusion. I know a lot of people, like a massive amount of people, when I was looking at the episode discussions on Reddit when this was actually coming out last year, were completely confused as to what Tommy's illness actually was if it wasn't tuberculoma. And I saw a few people claim it was alcohol withdrawal. I did some more research and it turned out that it is most likely alcohol withdrawal. So yeah, I hope I cleared up this bit of confusion for you. I know that a lot of people are still confused. Hell, I was even confused when I first saw it before doing some more research. But nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed me clearing up this possible point of confusion. If you did enjoy this video, leave a like and subscribe. And without further ado, I really hope you have a great day or night wherever you are.